I lied to my mother several times that my children are sick.
Your own children?
Yeah. I was able to stay 4 years clean. And in 2018, I relapsed. In fact, I cross-addicted, so I didn't do alcohol. I started doing bang and mirror. Acquaintances will always be there for you when you have drinking buddies, yeah? When you have money, you'll always have friends to drink with. You'll always have them. Those people are not friends. But in the moment and in the event you don't have that money, or you've landed into problems because of your drinking, you'll run away from it. I had to do something to maintain my sobriety. So the best advice he told me that you have to reach out, which I was very passionate about. So the moment I left rehab in 2020 March, is the moment I decided that I'll have to speak about this thing. Always reach out for help. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay.
Hi guys, welcome to the Addiction Tunnel. Today I've had the privilege of hosting the host, who is Mr. Wambua. We want to get an in-depth and to know about the Addiction Tunnel and also know his story, because many of the viewers don't know about his journey. How are you, Mr. Wambua?
I'm doing fine.
You okay?
Yes.
So now today nimepata chance ya kuongea na wewe. So first of all, we wanted to together with the viewers to understand, why did you choose this path of creating the Addiction Tunnel?
Actually, first and foremost, I am a recovering addict. And I battled addiction for more than 15 years. And in a nutshell, the journey to addiction started back in 1999 when I was 42. And by the time I was in Form 4, it was evident to the family, to the school, that actually I was drinking too much alcohol. And I remember very well in my third term in Form 4, I decided to be serious with my education, and luckily I was able to pass and get a B+.
Wow.
Come 2003, I joined the university to do Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and addiction is a cunning disease. I was discontinued from the university because of poor performance. Why am I saying this? Because in my second year I was not in a position to be attending all the classes. I gave the drink the first option, whereby asubuhi unaamka unaenda unatoa lock, and once you start drinking you can't stop drinking. So nikianza asubuhi sitaingia daru tena. So that was in 2005 when I was discontinued from my university education.
That was alcohol in particular?
Alcohol in particular. And in 2006 I was employed to the Kenya Prison Service. And
so you got the opportunity to serve the country as an officer?
Yeah, as a prison officer, which I'm still a prison officer. And at that time, I'm earning my money. I can do things on my own. My addiction aggravated, and mark you, at that time I don't know that I'm addicted. I was just thinking that I'm doing it for fun, despite all the consequences I'd faced because of my drinking. But things got worse even in unemployment. I was transferred to different stations because of the same obvious too much drinking. And I also developed health problems because of my drinking. I had family issues, disciplinary issues because of failure to attend my duties as per conduct. And 2014, I went for my first rehab in a Sumbi Treatment Center, Karen, for 90 days. And after the rehab, was relocated to a different station to avoid the triggers. And I was able to stay 4 years clean. And in 2018, I relapsed. In fact, I cross-addicted, so I didn't do alcohol. I started doing bang and mirror, thinking that now that I'm not doing alcohol, I'll be in a position to control.
Yeah, I understand.
And within a very short period of time, I was back to zero. I sold everything in the house. My relationship was safe. And
But this time you had a family.
yeah, I had a family, and which had gone through a lot of problems. And I really appreciate my wife, because not so many can afford to go through all those things and still stick to the marriage. And I had to go to a conversation with her about my next move, because things are not right. Things are not right. I didn't have the capability to be responsible as a father in the house, and
Meaning in terms of provision.
I could not provide. I just said me pay sleep, and even an SME had actually financed her to put, ilibidi nimeenda mpaka pia nikakula hiyo do. And you see, all these things revolves around the family and the children, the job, they're all affected. And
So you had to do the program once more.
Once more, because that was the only thing I could have done. And this time I actually checked in at Chiromo's Togo Crosslands, where I did a detox, and it is at that point that I was diagnosed with substance abuse disorder and depression. And after the detoxification process, and then I was transferred to the retreat, Limuru, for 90 days rehabilitation program. And which was very helpful to me. And it is at that point where, with my one-on-one counselor, who was very categorical with me and told me, this is the second time you've been to the rehab. And I was actually didn't want to go back to alcoholism again, to drugs again.
You
And
were tired of...
I was tired of that. And I had to do something to maintain my sobriety. So the best advice he told me that you have to reach out, which I was very passionate about. So the moment I left rehab in 2020 March is the moment I decided that I'll have to speak about this thing.
You're saying before Mr. Wambua we reach to where you found your purpose, I want to ask you, how was your family affected? Your mother, from your brothers to your... so that also the viewers can understand. So in that sense, where that was your breaking point.
Yeah, first and foremost, to my family, to my nuclear family, my immediate family. There was a point I was not in a position to pay school fees for my children. And they were learning in a good private school. So it reached a point whereby my mother had to take the two children. So that it can be able, because at that time we were schooling, and we remained with the other two children who were smaller, you see. And you see, your movement gets power.
Yes.
And it's also very shameful. Secondly,
so your kids had to downgrade.
Yeah, they had to downgrade. Actually, I was even living in a rented house in Machakos at that time, but I was not in a position to pay rent, so I had to move in back to the camp. And you see, some interruptions zote kwa sababu ya do. And even to my job, I was doing a very responsible, position to work in the High Court in Machakos. And because of my addiction, the manipulative nature that I had, actually I had to do it so that I can finance my addiction. I had to be, there were complaints. So ilibidi nirudishe nifanye general duties, yeah? And
So in what you're saying, also addiction can be very manipulative.
it's very manipulative.
And is selfish at the same time.
Selfish, yeah, because you always look at your own interest, not thinking about the other parties. You come first. You come first. Your addiction comes first. So everything that trained to my mind is I will get the next alcohol, the next drink, the next puff, you see. And you'll find that even the manipulative, a good example is I lied to my mother several times that my children are sick.
Your own children?
Yeah, and it was a pure lie, and he sent money so that he can take them to the hospital, and you see, we are covered by NHIF. So I always told him that the hospital nimempeleka si covered. So she sent money. The same case applies to my brothers and sister. And it reached a point there was no trust. Yeah? And at that point, they also did not understand that I had relapsed. That was also another challenge. Yeah? So life was hard. Life was pathetic. At times even became suicidal. And
because here you have also, so there's a possibility of relapse even from after the second program. There is a possibility.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you can relapse. If you're not careful, relapse will always be there. Relapse is an absence of recovery. You always keep yourself on check on a daily basis so that you cannot go back to the same ways.
Yes, and so that the viewers can understand, Mr. Wambua, what about your friends? What about, are they there at that particular moment? What made you like move from that hole? How was your social?
Actually, this is very important.
Yes.
I normally categorize them into two: acquaintances and true friends.
Okay, explain.
Acquaintances will always be there for you when you have drinking buddies. Yeah, when you have money, you'll always have friends to drink with. You'll always have them. Those people are not friends. But in the moment and in the event you don't have that money, or you've landed into problems because of your drinking, you'll run away from it. When it reached a position I could not finance myself because of the way I used my money wrongly, payslip nimeharibu nini, wala tulikuwa tunakunywa nao walinitoka. Wale nilibaki nao ni familia yangu. You see? So that's very important for us to understand who do you work with.
Wow, viewers, what a touching story. We'll go for a short break and then we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Addiction Tunnel. So, Mr. Wambua, I wanted to ask you, and you said that you found your purpose by doing this. Why did you choose to reach out to other addicts and help them tell their stories? Why is it important to you?
Information is power. When I started reaching out after my second rehab, I realized there's a lack of information about addiction. I realized that very many families are suffering in secrets because of addiction. I've seen instances which also happened to me. I was meant to believe that I was bewitched. You see?
So there's a lot of misconception.
There's a lot of misconception about addiction, and you know, from that perspective, not unless we highlight about addiction, not unless we give real life stories about addiction, not unless we give real life stories of people who are in recovery like me and the rest. It's very important. Now, I found purpose in that when you sensitize people about addiction, it gets a different perspective in the society. You know, I've lost a lot. I've lost 3 degree programs which I didn't finish. My children have suffered a lot. My family has suffered a lot. I was even in the brink of being dismissed in the service because of addiction. And all these things were happening because I lacked the information about addiction. Not that I have this information about addiction. Not that my story and the story of other people who have gone through the same will give hope to people who are suffering from this dangerous and fatal disease. Remember, hata ukienda pale mtaani, you'll come to realize that most people think addiction is a choice. So my main aim of coming up with the addiction tunnel is to create awareness about addiction. To create awareness to the families that are suffering from this disease. Remember, my mother got high blood pressure because of my day-to-day issues of addiction. Sleepless nights.
So even I wanted to ask you, how is the immediate family affected about the Polish?
Now, you see, after my second rehab, I realized my wife was also totally affected by my addiction because of the young things which I did, the destabilization which I did to the family, lack of responsibilities in the family, and I had to do an intervention. I had to take him to psychologist in Chiromo Hospital so that he can get guidance. And we also had family sessions at the retreat.
So okay, now
At the retreat rehab, so that she can best understand that this is a disease and the necessary support she's supposed to give to me. And to my children, what I was meant to understand from my children is that addiction had dropped them of their father. Most of the time I was not in the house. I was not in a position to pay their school fees. I was not in a position even to dress and feed them well. You see, there's that fear from the child trying to tell the parent you are not going the right way. So they remain silent and remain disturbed. Addiction affects the social circles, and true, it's because I remember, I'll give it through an example. I remember a time when I was hospitalized because of ulcers, and it didn't happen once or twice, it happened around 3 to 4 times, and this happened within a span of 2 months. Nakausi 3 days unakuwa discharge, unarudi unakunywa tena, and you see, even the doctor was very categorical by saying you are going to die if you don't stop drinking.
It reached that point.
It had reached that point. And you see, when you're in hospital, you're not the only one who is affected. Remember, your mother is praying for you so that you can get healed. Your brothers come and see you in the hospital. And even our children.
Yes.
They're also going through a difficult time. You see, the moment you're also not in a financial position to support your family because of your addiction, it also traumatizes you. You see, when I was not in a position to pay school fees for 2 of my elder children, the firstborn and the secondborn, you see, they had to go and be with my mother so that he can be paying school fees for them. The other 2 children, the third and the last born, I was being supported to put food on the table. So, in the house, who are you?
For a man, that one is the most damaging thing. Knowing that you're not in a position to do your responsibility.
But the funniest part is that whenever you even get a support, maybe you're giving around 2,000 shillings. You not put the family first. You go and squander the money to finance your addiction. So it even reaches a point they don't send you money, they send money to the wife. Now, there are very many families which are going through the same. Inafikia mahali mpaka unarushiwa mkono. Now, if these families can realize that addiction is a disease, then they can take the necessary measures. Unasikia mtu anasema huyo tuliachana naye kwa ile maisha aliamua ajikalie, huyo achana naye. You see, this person is going to die.
That is a bad perception.
That's a bad perception.
So, okay, so and now to summarize, I wanted, because tutatuongelea mabeste, na kukuona, because you are telling me about the importance of having a small circle and how it helped you, even the support from your mom, because how has that changed?
Now, you have to avoid people, places and things which are going to take you back to your old habits of drinking and consumption of drugs. And so the friends they try to keep, mostly friends who are sober. The friends they try to keep are friends who are also focused in life. The friends they also keep are addicts who want them to follow the path of sobriety. And that is very powerful, because it takes an addict to heal another addict. And that is a job I'm doing currently, reaching out to officers who have challenges in addiction. And me, I can say I found a purpose in life.
Okay. So I wanted to ask about the rehabilitation process, because you also, that is what you do, and you're saying that you found your purpose.
Yeah, actually, first and foremost is the intervention process.
Yes. What is an intervention process?
You meet the addict.
Okay.
You meet the addict. You also meet the family, and mostly when they reach out.
So everybody has to be on board.
It's important to involve the parties, but you see, it reaches a point to find there are some addicts they cannot sit on the same table with the family because of
the
shame and guilt that they've done. But you have to be a bit cautious in doing that. It's purely professional, and you reach out, you speak to the addict, and you get to know the nitty-gritty issues. And then in the event the addict accepts to get the treatment, you take him through the detoxification process.
So Mr. Wambua, do you believe the addiction tunnel has really helped to reach out to people going through the same? And with the information that is out there, has it helped?
Yes, addiction channel has helped me reach out to many people who are going through the same, and it's good to have dreams and to have a focus in life. I believe maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, I'll be able to reach a wider scope, so that this information about addiction gets to the nerve of every person to understand that addiction is a disease. I'm also planning to engage other bodies so that I can be in a better position even to transfer this information globally. I believe it's a high time I reach out. I don't care what it takes.
Yes.
I don't care. Challenges will always be there.
So right now, if we have people who are going through the same thing, in the same hole, or in the same space, whereby they feel that it's their breaking point, how can they reach you directly?
Directly. Directly you can reach me through my phone number.
Which is appearing on the screen.
0792 7075 60. You can call me anytime. Because I believe, especially when you see somebody reaching out, that person needs help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Wambua. What is your parting shot to your viewers, to your subscribers, to the families, and to the general audience who are either affected or they're also going through the same, or they're in their journey to recovery? What message do you have?
First and foremost, addiction is not a choice, addiction is a disease. We can work from that perspective. Secondly, let's stop stigmatizing and victimizing addicts. This does not solve the problem, this makes the disease worse. And lastly, always reach out for help. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. And through the addiction tunnel, we find real life stories of people who've been through the same process and now they're living a sober life. Personally, I am one of them. From the channel, you'll see different stories. And this channel brings hope. Hope to those families that did not understand that addiction is a disease and they decided they have to let go of their family members because of the addiction process. Let's reach out because it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you've heard it from the horse's mouth, thank you for tuning in to the Addiction Tunnel.